Hello and welcome back. I hope everyone is doing really well. This is going to be a quick fire update regarding the crypto markets, as well as some more information about HEDERA, as there are some big bits of news that have recently been announced. Going on off the back of the previous video and a lot of the news we've seen in the headlines recently, of course, around the ETFs and the BlackRock filings with their incredibly prevalent history of acceptance. The BlackRock ETF filing alone has sparked the largest inflow to Bitcoin investment products since July. And of course, this was stuff that I was already alluding to, that if this ETF gets accepted, and now there are many others that are also following suit off the back of BlackRock's filing, other asset managers with billions, if not trillions of assets under management, we're going to see a lot of capital flow into the markets. And we're already starting to see this happen. So the filing of a spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund, or ETF, by BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager by funds, may be looked back on as the turning point for cryptocurrency markets, as the asset class has seen a flurry of activity since the filing was first revealed in the middle of June. According to the most recent digital asset fund flow report from European asset manager firm CoinShares, digital asset investment products experienced their most significant inflows since July last week, recovering much of what had been lost over the previous 2 months. Digital asset investment products saw the largest single weekly inflow since July of 2022, so nearly 12 months, totaling just shy of $200 million, which corrects almost half of the prior 9 consecutive weeks of outflows. And that was from the head of research at CoinShares. And you can see that on this particular chart here, a huge candle effectively of inflow of assets, of US dollars, of equity or capital into the cryptocurrency markets. And of course, this will only get larger and larger, particularly if those ETF filings are successful. And then we see other asset managers also launch ETF products. Of course, being in the United States first, that could trickle its way across to the European Union. And then as well in places across Asia, we could quite quickly see capital exposure to the crypto markets become incredibly easy via the well-established broker networks that currently exist for equities. Of course, off the back of that, we will see massive swings in prices, probably to the upside for majority of cryptocurrency projects, with Bitcoin leading the way first, followed by the likes of Ethereum and other blue chip altcoins. This cannot be understated for the amount of attention and interest this is bringing towards cryptocurrency. In fact, we've had very, very notable figures, going back 6 or 7 years, saying that cryptocurrency was effectively a fad, to them now realizing it is a true asset class of its own because of the prices that they are commanding, as well as equity within the markets. Not only that, we are now seeing leveraged Bitcoin ETFs as well in the US take shape. $4.2 million in trading volume since the debut. The ETF saw about $500,000 worth of trades in the first 15 minutes. Volatility shares 2x Bitcoin strategy exchange traded fund, BITX, the first leveraged crypto ETF in the US, started trading on Tuesday, witnessing about 4.2 million worth of trading volume so far since it went live. The ETF also saw 500k worth of shares traded in the first 15 minutes. The current price of BITX is around $15.50. So we're seeing leverage stuff as well take place. Really interesting comment on my previous video, actually talking about the ETF and it not really doing much for the price of Bitcoin. These kind of leveraged ETFs are normally synthetic ETFs, so they're not actually holding the underlying assets. However, the spot ETFs will not be synthetic, and part of the assets under management, or the net asset value, the NAV it's called, of those spot ETFs will be and should be backed by Bitcoin, based on how the ETF will be set up. So of course, money flowing into those particular ETFs on a regular basis, they will readjust and buy or sell Bitcoins based on the demand for the shares of that particular ETF. So it will have a real tangible impact on the Bitcoin price going forward. Just my 2 pence worth on that. Moving across then from the crypto markets as a whole, taking a closer look at HEDERA, some seriously big news was actually dropped recently that went under the radar for many, and it was that ChatGPT plugin has gone live for the HEDERA network. I believe this is one of the first layer 1 or zeros to actually implement or have the ability to integrate with ChatGPT and other forms of AI going forward, and this is a massive step forward for HEDERA, particularly because of where many of you have probably seen AI heading and the direction we're heading over the next couple of years. It's incredibly important to be at the forefront of this, which of course HEDERA appears to be doing as well. So users can now view asset balances through the Network Explorer or programmatically retrieve them via the Mirror Node REST API, which the plugin will utilize. A convergence of blockchain and artificial intelligence has occurred between ChatGPT and HEDERA, the native cryptocurrency of the HEDERA network. By capitalizing on the decentralized characteristics of the blockchain networks, ChatGPT can establish secure interactions with the HEDERA network, accessing its tools such as the HEDERA consensus service, token service, and smart contract service. On Twitter, developer 𝗟𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗙 provided instructions on creating the plugin, focusing on token balances of HEDERA accounts. According to 𝗟𝗚𝗏𝗡𝗙, users can view account balances through a network explorer or programmatically retrieve them via the Mirror REST node. Using a plugin, the integration of ChatGPT with the HEDERA network allows for retrieving those, and it simplifies asset monitoring and management for users. And of course, this is just the beginning as well of integrations, of course, querying wallet balances, etc. Going forward into the future, potentially we'll have integrations into HEDERA where you literally connect your wallet and then you start prompting the AI to do different things on your behalf, per se, or additional research into different tokens across the ecosystem, or arbitrage opportunities via AI, etc. There are tons of different opportunities here for where AI could be used for retail, but also, of course, institutions. If we see proper mainstream AI integration into, say, HEDERA, this could be leveraged wholly by institutions that are, of course, running transactions through the HEDERA consensus service for a myriad of different users, and could potentially as well speed up deployment of applications on HEDERA, because you could have almost low code or no code solutions as it is being written by the AI tool itself, if things like the HEDERA syntax and Solidity smart contracts, etc. are learnt by the particular AI tooling. The sky is really the limit for this. And again, this pushes forward the boundary of adoption for many retail and institutional customers and clients. Here was that article that was written, of course, as well by Ed over on the HEDERA website itself. Really detailed guide here on effectively how this integration is taking place and how others could effectively replicate this type of integration into the future for these kind of products. You can see plugin store here, and you can add the HEDERA plugin or develop your own plugin and add it yourself if you've got one of the advanced tiers of ChatGPT. And of course, there are many other AI tools being developed as time progresses. Impressively, HEDERA can support 10,000 transactions per second without any need for additional scaling solutions. This was an article by securities.io talking about Polygon versus HEDERA and the differences between them. If you want to improve market understanding, this article was written to effectively compete these two different technological solutions against one another. And of course, many people being shocked about the sheer number of transactions, the volume or the throughput that HEDERA can achieve without having to do anything else. No additional scaling solutions required, which of course is incredibly different, juxtaposes itself, let's say, to many other layer 1/0s within the space, which require scaling solutions to even get to 10,000 transactions per second. And we have seen it recently on HEDERA. And of course, as we all know, the 10,000 transactions per second sort of limit, in air quotes, on HEDERA is actually a throttle. And there are many different types of step function and scaling opportunities to take place on HEDERA to take that way up into potentially even the hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. There doesn't actually appear to be a theoretical limit, according to Lehman, for hbar or HEDERA hashgraph. And we see that as well. We've seen average TPSs of nearly 1.4 thousand transactions per second. The testnet as well recently has been ramping up quite aggressively, and we've seen max transactions per second getting into the high thousands as it takes place. The public layer 1 network processing 118 million transactions per day with an average transaction per second of 1,400. HEDERA now is the #1 used DLT/blockchain across the crypto space by a long margin, even beating out things like Solana, where we've discussed at length on the channel before. Of course, majority of those transactions aren't even real on Solana. They're actually voting transactions, effectively votes that are submitted to the chain. They're not true transactions which are immutably logging bits of valuable or valid information. Some interesting developments here from Hashpack as well, introducing Hashpack themes, which are now live. So they've developed a suite of different themes as they continue to, apparently Twitter's gone down for me, but they continue to develop a suite of different themes. As you can see here, I believe these are actually purchasable. You can see here priced around $5. There is an unlimited supply of these and they are available forever. So we've got red and green basic Hashpack themes. You've got kind of light and gold theme here, or a dark gold theme here. Half-Life and Dieter special Hashpack themes. As token of appreciation, gold supporter holders as well will enjoy a 15% discount on these store items. Of course, you can pick up one of those gold supporter NFTs on the likes of Zeus Marketplace or Sentient X. They are available and you will enjoy a 15% discount. But again, interesting to see Hashback making some very large moves when it comes to sort of customization with their wallet and accessibility. Actually as well, because I didn't cover it in the previous video, wanted to touch on this as I know many of you were interested about security audits for Hashback as we hadn't really seen them. After 4 diligent months, they are ready to share the audit from QuantStamp, which is finally complete. Hashback is now as secure as it's ever been. The audit was a high priority for us. Our commitment to ensuring user security meant we welcomed every bit of feedback. We're pleased to report the majority of findings were low or informational in severity. At Hashback, security isn't an add-on, it's our core philosophy. The founders have more than 5 years of enterprise-grade application security, and this experience guides the daily audits and stress tests. We believe our proactive approach has helped mitigate potential issues that could have made it into this report. We see every finding not as a problem, but as an opportunity to improve. Despite our own robust internal practices, third-party analysis is invaluable. That's why they entrusted QuantStamp to do it. QuantStamp's insights have not only validated our security measures, but also highlighted further areas for focus. After all, it's a journey, not a destination. So of course, they got a very, very good QuantStamp security report. And as they mentioned, you can read it actually on their website, hashback.app. Be very careful with the different links you're going to. Hashback at the moment is being targeted on Google via a few different sort of scam links. So just triple check the links that you guys are visiting. And of course, never put your private key or seed phrase into any of these particular websites or anything like that if it pops up. And be careful of connections as well. But great to know that Hashback has a full audit. Right, then before I wrap up this video, there are just 2 more things I wanted to take a quick look at. The first thing being the Fear and Greed Index, which I've focused on in quite a few videos over the time of this channel. And we are actually now back into the greed as we look at historical values on the current sentiment of the market. So we can see from last week onwards, 59, and we're now at 62 in terms of greed. And as we've said before, we've previously seen it whenever we hit these greedy times, there tends to be a pullback in prices. And of course, maybe a lot of this at the moment is due to that additional capital that's flowing in from the highly anticipated Bitcoin spot ETFs. And interestingly as well, 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗥𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗦 is still saying we have a long way. We've come from the teal zone here over the last 6 months. And he's talking about the Bitcoin dominance playing out. The real impulsive move has started. Bitcoin has begun accelerating to the upside, and we have a bare minimum target of 50% dominance. Still thinks we could push higher here over the coming months as Bitcoin continues its impulsive move to all new time highs. So 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗪 is still calling out for a 2023 high for Bitcoin, and potentially that could coincide very well with things like spot ETFs launching and really make that a thing happen. What should follow though will of course be the largest alt season we've ever seen since 2017. Everyone will have their turn. And of course, for those of you that have not experienced one of these cycles before, Bitcoin dominance tends to skyrocket. All of the capital is flowing into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price pumps typically towards a new all-time high as part of one of these cycles. And then as we see Bitcoin slowly lose momentum, its price will fall gradually with that capital rotating out into different altcoins. Normally Ethereum first, but then of course the top 50, top 100 blue chip altcoins will tend to have major runs as well. And we see a rejig effectively if the top 100 coins take place. Whenever this happens, maybe we'll start to see HEDERA HBAR appreciate significantly enough to approach the top 10 where it probably deserves to be. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment if you've got something to say. I do try and respond to as many of them as I possibly can. Until the next one, I'll catch you then. Cheers.